The concept of a social license to operate. A social license to operate is the level of acceptance and trust that local communities grant to a company and its activities. At its core, it reflects how people evaluate the company, starting from the very first interaction and continuing throughout the entire life cycle of the project. This framework is built on direct, field-based experience in negotiating with communities. Its purpose is to identify the key elements that build trust and to measure them systematically. The 5 elements of the social license to operate: social impact, creating social value, social performance, social capital, social risk. SLO. 1. Social value creation. Social value is the vision that gives a company's work its meaning and serves as the moral and practical compass that guides its decisions. It is the deep answer to the question, why are we doing this initiative in the first place? When a company believes that its very existence should add real meaning to people's lives, not merely deliver short-term economic gains, its daily decisions become a reflection of that commitment. In this way, success is measured not only by profit, but also by the company's ability to improve quality of life and create public benefits that make the community feel the company is part of its development journey rather than an outsider. Social value takes 2 complementary forms: tangible and intangible benefits. Tangible benefits might include creating local job opportunities, expanding local procurement to support the community's economy, developing infrastructure that people truly need, such as water networks, roads, and clinics, and offering vocational training programs that prepare young people for the labor market with real skills. Intangible benefits come from knowledge transfer, capacity building, and fostering pride in place and local identity. These are gains that may not be immediately visible, but accumulate over time, shaping collective consciousness and strengthening social cohesion and trust. 2. Social performance. Social performance is the practical translation of the idea of social value. It is the process of turning promises and slogans into concrete practices that can be measured and evaluated. It represents the execution side of a company's commitment to society. It is not just about launching initiatives, but about managing them effectively and sustainably and demonstrating real results on the ground. In the mining sector, social performance rests on 4 interconnected pillars that shape the relationship between a company and host community. At the top sits community engagement, the heart and driving force of social performance. True engagement means listening to people, maintaining an ongoing dialogue with them, and incorporating their input into decision-making and solution design in ways that reflect their reality and priorities. At the foundation are 3 supporting pillars. The first is local employment, which focuses on creating jobs for community members and building their skills so that they can take an active part in operating the project. The second is local procurement, giving preference to local suppliers and small businesses whenever possible to stimulate the local economy and strengthen supply chains. The third is social investment or community development, which means funding initiatives that align with community priorities, such as health, education, and infrastructure, following clear plans and producing measurable, trackable results. It is crucial to understand that these 3 foundational pillars feed and strengthen community engagement at the top, not the other way around. Community engagement is not just about announcing job openings or funding programs as a one-way process. It is about building a genuine partnership based on dialogue and collaboration, supported by these pillars and translated into tangible outcomes that benefit everyone. 3. Social capital. Social capital, often described as the quality of the relationship, is the accumulated stock of trust, fairness, and mutual respect between a company and its host community. It is the outcome of a long process of honest communication, meaningful participation, and honoring commitments. This capital cannot be built through press releases or ceremonial visits. It is formed through small, repeated, everyday actions, responding quickly to a grievance, explaining a complex technical issue with clarity, inviting the right mix of people to a consultation meeting, or making a fair decision when harm has occurred. When people feel that the company sees them as true partners rather than as outsiders, a relationship rooted in respect and trust begins to take shape, and the social environment becomes more open to collaboration and early conflict resolution. Social capital reveals itself through 4 interlinked dimensions: The first is trust, which grows when words and actions align. Every time a company makes a promise and fulfills it, trust becomes the true currency of the relationship. The second is transparency, which means sharing essential information clearly and in a timely manner, using accessible language that respects local context, and being honest about what is known and what is not. The third is communication, which must be two-way rather than one-way. Open, easy-to-access channels and genuine listening that influence company decisions are essential, not just the collection of opinions for appearance's sake. The fourth is participation, where consultation processes are designed to be representative, including women, youth, and those most directly affected, and ensuring they have a meaningful voice in setting priorities and shaping solutions. To turn this concept into something manageable, a set of simple yet powerful indicators can be used. A relationship quality index, for example, can be developed through regular surveys that measure trust, fairness, transparency, and responsiveness to grievances. Tracking the change in this index over time becomes an early compass for the direction of the relationship. 4. Social risk. Social risks are the factors that can threaten a company's performance or disrupt the surrounding community. These may include tensions, rumors, pressure on public services, land disputes, and unintended consequences of operational decisions. The heart of social risk management is anticipation rather than reaction. It starts with understanding the local context and carefully monitoring the signals that precede a crisis. The process begins with a regularly updated social risk matrix that combines likelihood and impact and links each risk to clear mitigation plans, budgets, and defined responsibilities. This is reinforced by an early warning system that tracks specific indicators such as a rise in the number or nature of grievances, boycotts of public meetings, and repeated negative coverage in the media or on social platforms. When disruptions occur, a company's capability is measured by the quality of its organized response. This includes tracking the number, duration, and cost of incidents, activating pre-tested response plans, assigning clear roles and responsibilities, and opening easily accessible emergency communication channels. Finally, the approach must include transparent communication, consistent messaging, and clear technical information delivered to the community in its local language. With this integrated methodology, risk matrix, early warning, incident tracking, and tested response readiness, social risks are transformed from sudden threats into a managed area that protects trust and safeguards business continuity. 5. Social impact. Social impact is the real change that a company's activities create in people's lives, both positive and negative, including unintended effects. On the negative side, the focus is on how individuals and vulnerable groups are affected by operational decisions and value chain behavior. This is managed through a clear impact assessment process that begins before implementation, continues during operations, and is repeated after completion. Actions to avoid, minimize, and compensate for harm are documented, with confirmed cases of harm and the percentage resolved fairly and on time, serving as key indicators of justice. Secondary effects, such as housing pressures, traffic, or rising costs of services, are monitored and linked to mitigation plans. Most importantly, affected groups are directly involved in co-designing solutions so that measurement leads to meaningful and fair outcomes. On the positive side, attention shifts to the cumulative results of a company's initiatives once enough time has passed to observe lasting change. What matters most is what has truly changed in people's lives, not simply the number of activities completed. A well-designed education program might lead to lower illiteracy rates over several years, while targeted economic support could raise local income levels and help small businesses grow. Measuring this impact requires patience to allow results to appear and clarity in attributing outcomes to the company's programs rather than external factors. By addressing negative impacts with fairness and transparency and tracking positive results over time, social impact becomes much more than a public relations exercise. It turns into a system of continuous learning and improvement, proving that the company's efforts have created real, measurable change that benefits both communities and business sustainability. Linking the 5 concepts. Social value asks the question, why do we act? It is the principle that gives a company's work meaning beyond profit. Social performance answers, how do we act? It is the process of turning values into plans, execution, measurement, and continuous improvement. Social capital asks, what is the quality of the relationship? It reflects the trust, transparency, fairness, and responsiveness that build over time. Social risk asks, what could threaten this relationship or disrupt performance? It focuses on identifying events or trends that may undermine trust if not managed early. Social impact asks, what has truly changed? It measures the tangible results in people's lives, whether positive or negative, after a period of implementation. In practice, a company begins with social value as the driving purpose, translates it into social performance through clear systems and actions, which in turn builds social capital as trust grows. Social risks are then monitored and managed proactively, and social impact is measured to confirm whether meaningful change has been achieved. The insights gained feed back into the next cycle of improvement, creating a continuous loop of learning and progress.